Espressif IoT Development Framework esp-idf is the development framework for Espressif SoCs supported on Windows, Linux, and macOS. esp-idf release support schedule. Please read the support policy and the documentation for more information about esp-idf versions. Please see the end-of-life advisories for information about esp-idf releases with discontinued support. esp-idf release and SoC compatibility. The following table shows esp-idf support of Espressif SoCs where and denote preview status and support, respectively. The preview support is usually limited in time and intended for beta versions of chips. Please use an esp-idf release where the desired SoC is already supported. ESP32, ESP32S2, ESP32C3, ESP32S3 announcement, ESP32C2 announcement, ESP32C6 announcement, ESP32H2 announcement, ESP32P4 announcement, ESP32C5 announcement. Developing with esp-idf. Setting up esp-idf, idf.espref.com/ for links to detailed instructions on how to set up the esp-idf depending on chip you use. Non-GitHub forks, esp-idf uses relative locations as its submodules URLs .git modules, so they link to GitHub. If esp-idf is forked to a Git repository which is not on GitHub, you will need to run the script tools/set submodules to github.sh after git clone. Finding a project. As well as the esp-idf template project mentioned in Getting Started, esp-idf comes with some example projects in the examples directory. Once you've found the project you want to work with, change to its directory, and you can configure and build it. Quick reference setup build environment. See the Getting Started guide listed above for a full list of required steps with more details. Install host build dependencies mentioned in the Getting Started guide. Run the install script to set up the build environment. Run the export script on Windows or source it on Unix in every shell environment before using esp-idf. Configuring the project. idf.py set target chip name sets the target of the project to chip name. idf.py menu config opens a text-based configuration menu where you can configure the project. Compiling the project, idf.py build will compile app, bootloader, and generate a partition table based on the config. Flashing the project. When the build finishes, it will print a command line to use esptool.py to flash the chip. However, you can also do this automatically by running idf.py-p port flash. Replace port with the name of your serial port. This will flash the entire project, app, bootloader, and partition table to a new chip. Viewing serial output. The idf.py monitor target uses the esp-idf monitor tool to display serial output from Espressif SoCs. You can exit the monitor by typing Control, compiling and flashing only the app. After the initial flash, you may just want to build and flash just your app, not the bootloader and partition table. idf.py app, build just the app. idf.py app-flash, flash just the app. Erasing flash. Sometimes it is useful to erase the entire flash. To do so, run idf erase flash. Resources, documentation for the latest version, itchdocs.espress.com, project/esidf/. Beginner's Guide to Key Concepts and Resources of esp-idf. The sp32.com forum. Check the Issues section on GitHub if you find a bug or have a feature request. Contributions Guide if you're interested in contributing to esp-idf.